Hello guys, Al here, Grumpy Grognard Gaming. Time to review Secret Level, the Warhammer 40,000 episode that's been much hyped by GW, of course. This is technically the first official thing kind of coming from Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime. Maybe a hint of what's to come. I think the Cavill thing's meant to be live action. I don't think it needs to be. I think this works fine, if I'm being honest. The show starts off with what we've seen already from the trailer, which is that young, and it is Titus. Basically, you've got a voice over at the start, and one thing I need to say is that the episode is nearly completely dialogue free. There's a bit of dialogue at the start, a bit of dialogue at the end. Other than that, it's basically a music video. You've got the sergeant who sort of adopted Titus talking, and they get a squad together and go off, and there's this really cool shot of the hangar bay with all the Thunderhawks and everything like that. So the squad gets put together, Titus, Sergeant Dude, and the other two people who are clearly just going to be cannon fodder, deploy by drop pod into a canyon. Very cool sequence. They're basically going to take out an apostate relic. So you get some arty shots, I suppose. You can see that it's a chaos enemy as canyon shows sort of scrolls, and then you see these cultists. And it all looks very sort of dusty and pale and washed out. There's no bright colours at all. You get a few shots of the inside of the helmets, and that's as much human interaction as you are going to get in this. There will be no more than that. So the rebels come out, and they're just cultist rebels. There's no Chaos Space Marines or anything. En masse, and they've got a Predator tank. Not quite sure why they've got a Predator tank. Only Space Marines should be able to crew those, but yeah, there you go. Their main thing is bikes and just on foot and buggies and things. There's a really cool shot as the Space Marines walk past a Warlord Titan Claw on the floor. And basically what follows is more or less about 6 minutes of just pure, bloody, awesome action. Guts and entrails, blood, exploding bodies. This is kind of like when I used to do intro games for 40k. This is what I would describe. You know, the cultist runs towards the Space Marine, he just shoulder barges his way through him. It is absolutely brutal. So much blood and guts. Space Marines just doing what Space Marines do. They're just absolutely murdering everything in their sight. Like one-handed grabbing people by the skull and just crushing them. The sergeant is just kicking ass with his power axe. Titus has got a relic that he's dragging with him. He's obviously got something they've got to deliver, and it's on a big chain, very gothic. And yeah, they're just absolutely laying waste to everything before them. Everything before them. And then the Predator gets started up and just sort of starts with its Gatling cannon type thing, blasting away. The sergeant picks up a blade guard shield. The Predator starts up, and obviously he's got them pinned. So Titus drops his relic and basically smashes his way through a cultist, jumps on top of the Predator, drops a frag grenade into it. It looks awesome. It's like Legolas in Lord of the Rings taking out the Mummerkill. It's so cool. So the Predator's done. One of the other dudes straps a melter bomb to it. Boom, your Predator's gone. They carry on dragging the relic on. This is all taking place over the space of about sort of 3 minutes. The sergeant's got the relic on a chain, gives it back to Titus with a look, and he's sort of like, you drop this kind of thing. There is no dialogue. This isn't like Space Marine 2 where they're constantly talking to each other and jibing at each other and all that kind of stuff, which I understand it in a video game, but it does get a bit tiresome. It is a bit much. This, on the other hand, maybe is the other way a bit too much. No dialogue. Absolutely not a word. So they're heading closer to this target. Their purity seals burn off their armour. There's stuff dripping off the ground as they get towards the sort of the chaos infestation. And they drop into a massive pit. Just drop into it. Sliding down, again, with the relic. And then they're set on by Zangors. And Zangors do no better than the cultists, ripped apart. Very cool looking scene. You've got luminous blue blood on the Zangors. You've got the orange flare of the bolter gun and plasma, all that kind of stuff. Again, visually, stylistically, this looks amazing. It really does look good. I'd say it is a step above what they've been doing on Warhammer Plus, and I've got a video coming out about that soon. But it looks, there's no two ways about it, cinematography-wise, direction-wise, quality of the CGI animation-wise, it just looks incredible. Absolutely incredible. So they come up to this sort of a temple, I suppose you could describe it, and walk into this this profane chamber. It's got like a statue of a changer of ways and statues of demons all around it, and they get the relic and open the relic that they've been dragging with them, and it's a it's like an astropath or something, and they put him down. He's got wires all over him, and he starts communing, like doing emperor type prayers and stuff, while they're destroying this massive statue of this changer of ways. And it doesn't say whether it's meant to actually be a changer of ways, maybe it's been petrified or entombed, but like a sword that is trying to drop, and out of this sword, as they're attacking it, this actual demon comes out, and the demon stops time, so you get some really stylistic slow-mo and stuff, and she kills the astropath, and then, well, I say she, it's not a she at all, it's slender in form, but it's androgynous, I would say, maybe leaning towards the feminine, but whatever. And it just starts grabbing these space marines one by one, but it's not tearing them apart. It's just, there's again a very CGI, very stylized sort of, their bodies form out of oil, and then they rip their armor apart, and then they kill the space marine inside of them, and their helmets fill with blood, and they just fall over. So she's doing psychic attacks. It's a kind of cool rendition of what would happen, I suppose, with a demon. But again, it's all still very dark, and it's okay, but they just start dropping one by one, and then she gets to the sergeant, and it's kind of the same happens. It goes back to the flashback between him and Titus as a boy, and then this oil thing, he meets Titus, and then, yeah, it's all a bit weird. But anyway, he falls over, suspicious, like, is Titus a chaos demon? Because he's got like, yeah, it's all a bit weird. I don't really know how to describe it, what they're going for stylistically, what they're trying to invoke. But yeah, basically, Sergeant Dude falls over as well. No blood falling out of his helmet, he's just fallen over. So he's been attacked cyclically by a demon as well. And as you may be able to predict, the demon goes up to Titus and tries to do the same. And Titus is just like, no, I've messed with chaos before, and I am something, you know, whatever they're setting up for Titus. And he just kills the demon, just rips it in half. Again, very cool, very stylistic. And then the battle barge up above goes, right, okay, we've got our target now, and we're going to drop the ordnance. Everything's going to be destroyed. Space Marines, yeah, you can die, whatever. The sergeant's still alive, and Titus just basically drags him out. It's as simple as that. There's a bit more dialogue between them, where he's like, oh, I chose the boy who knew no fear, or whatever. The voice acting is very good from this. I mean, this black dude and Titus are the only two who speak in the entire thing. But his voice is very good. I wasn't sure who it was. I have to check. The sergeant dude's obviously, grievously wounded or whatever by the psychic attack. And he's like, yeah, we're done. Our duty's done. It's time to go. By which I may presume they think it's time to die, because they're not teleported down or anything. They came down by drop pod. And Titus is like, no, I will stand and I will fight. And he goes off and goes to fight the Chaos Cultists. And it so ends there. It's 19 minutes including credits. You're probably looking at 15 minutes of actual action and animation, the story. What story there is. And that's where it ends. So that's your story. Now, what did I think of the episode? Essentially, this, rather than an episode of TV or a story, this feels more like a show reel. This feels more like a show reel for what can be done with Warhammer 40,000. This episode will not work as an intro to Warhammer 40,000. This series will not work as a primer or anything like that. It is more or less kind of like an extended cutscene from the video games, to be honest, but just better quality. So Clive Standen returned to reprise Lieutenant Titus, And the guy that we do get a name for actually in the end, Blade Guard Sergeant Matoris, was Adewale Anakoye Agbaje. I'm sorry, but you were cool. Very cool. Yeah, it's high on action, loads of blood, loads of cool stuff, loads of stuff that's going to make teenagers go, oh yeah, this is Space Marine, so cool. The stuff that I used to narrate when I did intro games for 40k. But if you're looking for anything deeper, any kind of story, anything more than that, you are going to be sorely disappointed. This is basically Ultramarines the movie too, and I think Ultramarines had a better story, if I'm being honest, being scripted as it was by Dan Abnett. Lots of cool sequences, very short, but it's basically a music video. It's fluff. It's nothing. There is nothing of the 40k universe really about this. This is designed for people who have either played Space Marine 2 or to get people into Space Marine 2. That's it. It's Space Marines doing Space Marine stuff and a little bit of demon action at the end, which admittedly, look really cool, but there is just nothing to it. So, by all means, if you've got Prime Video, check it out, watch it. You're probably going to like it, but it's nothing more than a teaser. Henry Cavill's series has to do a lot more than this in order to have any hope at all of bringing the scale and the complexity of the Warhammer 40,000 universe to the masses. Because this, on that basis, on a characterization, as I say, the other two Space Marines, they don't get any dialogue, they get nothing. So, yeah, it needs a lot of work from the story department, and from that perspective, it's very lacking, but I think that's not what these secret level showcases are meant to be. Now let's talk about the story itself. Why don't I just teleport some Terminators down there? And you can teleport them back out again. Why send a squad down there to just die, dragging a relic along? Why are they dragging the relic along? Why is it not attached to one of their backpacks? Or it was all very much done for the sake of cool. Why are the cultists driving a Predator? You shouldn't be able to drive a Predator without uplinks and all that kind of stuff. That's why the Guard don't have Predators. Otherwise, the Guard would have Predators. That makes no sense. There are a lot of things that just are done for the sake of cool, and I don't feel like if the series that Warhammer, or if the series that Games Workshop are doing in conjunction with Henry Cavill, and I really hope that Henry Cavill would point out these things, I would hope it would be better. Because, yeah, you've sent down Space Marines because they look cool, because they're in Space Marine 2. You've still got that stupid situation where you've got a Blade Guard Sergeant, a Lieutenant, and 2 unknown Space Marines makes up your squad. I mean, GW, is a squad just whatever you decide it is now? Could you not afford to do a full combat squad? I mean, you're throwing all the lore out of the window just to make this stuff cool. Would it really have cost that much to animate an extra Space Marine? It's not like you got them talking or anything. It's not like you got to pay a voice actor. Cultists driving Predators. Why didn't you get Terminators teleport in and do it? That's the kind of stuff that they're designed for. You can see this place, but you can't bomb it. You need them to lay down a marker for you to be able to drop a high yield ordnance that surely could destroy the area anyway. Why didn't you just drop the an awful lot of it doesn't make sense. The story doesn't feel like it was thought about on any level at all. It was literally just like, this is cool, this is Space Marine stuff, we'll do this. And yeah, for some people that may be enough, but for me, not at all. So from a visual perspective, this is great. Absolutely fantastic. Looks absolutely brilliant. From a story perspective, absolutely lacking. Nothing to it. It's essentially a Astartes, but Astartes at least had a reason. Like, he didn't have voice actors. He didn't have the rights to make up story and stuff like that. It wasn't GW official, all that kind of stuff. This is, and this should be better. And that's my takeaway from Secret Level, and They Shall Know No Fear. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys, if you've seen it, and yeah, we'll sound off in the comments and see what we think. I've got another video coming out soon on what the recent Amazon announcement from Henry Cavill and GW means for Warhammer Plus, And other than that, I will catch you guys soon. Bye.